It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. You can email us as well. I read and respond to everyone at randykabc@gmail.com. That's randykabc@gmail.com. Look, today's one of those days where there's only one story, so let's lean into it. The phones are open right now. If you would like to weigh in on last night's debate, maybe you thought Trump did a good job, maybe you thought Kamala did a good job, tell me what you think of last night's debate. Over 67 million people were watching, which is more than the Trump-Biden debate in June. That was only about 51 million. And this doesn't even account for streaming numbers. For instance, I watched the debate on YouTube. So how exactly are they counting that? But a lot of people watch this debate. There's a lot of opinions out there. There are a lot of people that have some very strong feelings about what happened last night. So get on the phone right now at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Do you think Trump did a great job? Do you think Trump blew it? Do you think Kamala took him down? Do you think Kamala made a mess? You tell me what you think of last night's debate, because it's a very interesting thing. We don't have a lot of this anymore where you have this many people all watching the same thing. And unlike a traditional television show, so many people watching the exact same event come away with it with so many different opinions, so many different thoughts, and so many different takeaways. So this is your opinion right now to get on the phone. We had a lot of calls during the John Phillips show. Not everyone was able to get on. We want to hear what you thought about last night's debate. Do you think it was fair? Do you think your candidate did well? Did it sway you one way or the other? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. It's going to be all debate all the time because, well, that's the only story out there. Let me tell you, by the way, I played that drinking game last night, the one that we discussed. Oh, my goodness. I'm not hungover now, but I was hungover most of the morning. In fact, it was the worst thing ever because I opened 2 bottles of wine. One was going to be for the debate. One was going to be for dinner. However, my wife was busy working, so I had that bottle to myself for the hour-and-a-half debate, and I remembered to pour her a glass, but I definitely had more than half of that bottle. So by the time we got through dinner, more wine needed to be opened. And I started rolling a little blank tape. And then I wake up with a terrible headache at 4 a.m., realize I'm in a power outage because my fan's not working. So that was a nightmare. But you know what? I made it. It was a much more interesting debate and a lot more fun to watch than the debate with Biden and Trump in June. But tell me what you think about this debate. Tell me who you liked. Tell me who you didn't like. Did this sway you one way or the other? Love to hear all about it. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Here we go. Let's start off with Bill in L.A. Bill, hello.
Hello, Randy. Hey, I'd just like to point out the fact that Kamala Harris chastised Donald Trump for inviting the Taliban to Camp David, but that's already been done before because Bill Clinton had Yasser Arafat from the PLO there in 1996.
Oh, wow. That goes way back.
Yeah, and so how's that working out, the two-state solution, the partners in peace? Now, looking back all these years, how's that really been working out for them? Not too good.
You know, I hate to be a pessimist. I don't know if that region's ever getting settled. I don't know if this fight is ever going to end. This is, people are going to take that one to their graves.
All right. Thanks, Randy.
Thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. 800-222-KABC. 1-800-222-5222. Your thoughts on last night's big debate. 67 million people tuned in. I was one of them. So are you. 800-222-KABC. Let's go to Skip in La Jolla. Skip, hello.
Hey, how's it going, Randy? That was a knockout by Kamala. Complete knockout. She just nailed Trump. I mean, when you have the wannabe leader of the free world talk about eating dogs and cats, and there's no evidence, and he saw it on TV. Oh, come on. That's a joke. Not to mention his whole concept of fixing health care. It's a concept. He's got concepts. Yeah, right. Knockout.
Yeah, those might have been
Kamala.
Trump's two weakest moments. I don't know where the dog thing was coming from. And yeah, the concept of a health plan, that one he was caught pretty flat-footed on. And you're right. She set up a lot of traps for him. She was able to dodge some questions with it. But she knew that if she said something about people leaving his debates, his rallies, he wasn't going to answer any other questions till he settled the score on that. And he did it over and over again.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for the call, Skip. Appreciate it. La Jolla. Very jealous of anyone that lives in La Jolla because it's beautiful there. I went to Torrey Pines once. I love that hotel. Let's go to Marshall in Van Nuys. Marshall, hello.
Hi, Eddie. It's good to talk to you. I am a Trump supporter, but I have to ask you a question because I haven't heard anybody else bring it up. Does anybody get the feeling that Trump felt obligated to run again at this point in time, more than 4 years ago when he wanted to do it? He just kind of like has to go through the motions now, and he's almost like purposely, just doing something so he doesn't get elected because he's not behaving like he would normally behave. He's kind of off the rails, needless to say, a little bit on different stuff. And has anybody else felt like that? Do you have that sense at all? That he's looking to like actually lose this, like when players throw the game, so to speak, he's looking to throw the election?
Anything's possible at this point. Who knows what's going through somebody's heads? There have been some really bizarre decisions made in that campaign, J.D. Vance being one of them. Definitely not someone that you could build a coalition with. So is he trying to take the campaign? I don't know. I would say that he's trying to run with all his heart, but I don't know. If it was me and I was 80 years old, and would I want the most stressful job in the world? No, I'd want to go golfing.
Or drink wine and eat fish.
Well, there is that. I do like to drink wine and I do like to eat fish. Thanks so much for the call, Marshall. Appreciate it. I'll be doing that tonight. Your thoughts on the debate, whether you think Trump did great, whether you think Trump blew it, your thoughts on Kamala. Here is your opportunity to sound off. We're taking your calls all hour. 800-222-KABC. Let's go to Andrew in Garden Grove. Andrew, hello.
Hey there. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay, awesome. I thought again, with the media, the moderators, they have these questions lined up. I feel like they didn't cover enough a variety of the grounds that for discussion that I think the American people wanted to hear. I feel like they kind of touched on topics that were just more for entertainment purposes, to stir things up. It was just it seemed like there was a lot of time wasted yesterday, and I don't think either candidate had an opportunity to shine. Obviously, I feel like Trump did a great job, but he could have done better. Just the look on his face, I could just see that he was over the whole situation and knew what was coming with the moderators. Again, 3-on-1. But yeah, I feel like their questions were a bit of a time-wasting sequence. I don't know, but that's how I feel about it.
Well, Andrew, I'm curious, what is a topic that you think should have been asked last night?
Well, there were plenty of good topics asked. I just feel like, there was, when they asked Kamala what Trump thought about, or what she thought about when Trump mentioned that now she's black and changed her whole, I get that. That's a concern, and she definitely didn't address it, the fact that she's flip-flopping on her race, but I feel like there's plenty of other things that could have been covered where I feel like their importance was a bit higher than the drama that they were trying to stir up, it seemed.
Sometimes when you're in the moderator chair, you're the reporter, you're the anchor, it's real hard to fight that urge to stir the pot. Get that drama going, get them mixing it up. But I totally understand where you're coming from. Andrew, thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. Because, yeah, sometimes those gotcha questions, those, personality questions, they're not the issues that affect you and me every single day. So he makes a very fair point. 800-222-KABC, your thoughts on last night's debate. Let's go to Clifford in L.A. Clifford, hello.
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Hello? I
Hey,
believe that Trump. I was going to vote for him, but from what I heard last night, I think he was disgruntled. I think he was lost somewhat. I think he didn't study. There's many things I think was lacking with Trump. I don't know exactly what was wrong with him, but I believe he could have done better.
so you were
Hello?
very disappointed in what you saw last night.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Yeah, I believe he could have done better. I think the questions that they asked him, I think it was 3-1, but the questions they asked him, and he just strayed away from I think the plan they had, and in the beginning he started pretty well. He started well, and like after about the middle of the conversation, he just got lost, man. I don't know if I think she baited him. And I think
Oh,
that's
she
where he
absolutely
lost.
baited him. But the thing is, he should have seen that coming, and he fell for every single one. And you heard so many people talking about if
Correct.
Trump can just stay on message, he could not stay on message.
He couldn't for some reason, and I think that's where he faltered. That's where he just lost right there. But hey, I hope he has another debate and then make up for all this. But right now, my mind has been kind of going towards Harris, unfortunately.
Wow. So based on that debate, you were going to vote for Trump, and now you're thinking about voting for Kamala.
Of course, because he doesn't. When they asked him a question, he said yes, and then he said no. He's lost. He's totally and like he's not being truthful. I don't think so. And on a lot of things, in some things, Kamala, I don't think, but she had him, man. That's all I can tell you. And from the policies I've heard from her, I kind of leaning towards her. I'm sorry.
Well, that's very interesting. That debate had an effect on you. Thanks so much for the call, Clifford. Appreciate it. You always hear that these things don't have a huge impact, and people already had decided, and that's true for most people, but there are some persuadables out there. There might be some people that weren't for Trump that decided based on what they saw, now they're for Trump. He obviously went the other way, but hey, that's the thing. Half of the country likes one of these people. The other half likes the other of these people. That's this country that we live in. Let's go to Tommy in Simi Valley. Tommy, hello.
Hey, this is Patty. How you doing?
Oh, it's Patty. Hey, Patty.
Hey, Randy, how you doing? Hey, Randy, listen, I am the biggest Trump supporter you'll ever talk to in your life. But let me tell you, Trump was a disaster last night. This guy was a complete and utter disaster. He was a soup sandwich. And I'll tell you why, Randy. He couldn't answer the first question. The first question was, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? The answer to that question was no. But he rambled on about something else. I don't know what he even said. It was crazy. And Randy, thank God for the eating cats and eating dogs. That saved Trump. That saved him. And I'll tell you why that saved him. Because every single person is talking about that today. And it is a deflection from the complete disaster that he was last night. I'm sorry to say it.
Well, that's an interesting take. I happen to be among the belief that for the people that don't know anything about that story, hearing him say that was so out of left field, it just sounded kind of nutty.
Yeah, but Randy, listen, that story was debunked yesterday at 1 p.m. Every person on the planet knew that story was false, and he still came up and said it. It was ridiculous.
That is the wild part about that.
Yeah, she did, Randy. She spoke well yesterday. She was better trained. She was better prepared, better composed. Everything was better, and he was just a complete disaster.
Well, I think there's a lot of people that feel that way, Patty. Thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. She definitely did her homework. She was prepared. She was taking notes in between questions. You can say a lot of things about her. You can not like her policies, but you definitely come away from that thing saying, okay, she came to do what she came to do. And Trump, maybe he was overconfident, but he did not do a whole lot of preparation for this thing, at least from what I saw. Let's go to Fernando in L.A. Fernando, hello.
Hey, how are you guys? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great.
Hey, so I'm a little disappointed. I think Trump could have been better. I am a Trump supporter, but I think he failed at various points. Like the earlier caller saying, the first question, are we better off? She never today than we were 4 years ago. I mean, first of all, she never answered that. She just went off to something, and then that was Trump's opportunity to say, hey, you know what, we're not. We failed. You should be fired. The president and the VP should be fired. And I think he went off the subject in many of the questions, and I think he should have. I think he should have done better based on how much he knows. I can blame his team for that. I think they underestimated Kamala. And the question regarding the race, I know that came up. He should have just went straight. That was his opportunity to say, you know what, you're Indian descendant. You're not black. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. But he didn't go with that. He didn't answer that correctly. So I'm very disappointed. But at the end, I'm very glad that he really he exposed her in a way where, he called out all the main points: immigration, the deficit, the inflation. And he touched on a lot of good points that the American people want to hear, that they failed, that this administration has failed 100%. And I think they owe it to us. And I think they should be. I think Trump deserves to be a president, so he can clean up this mess that that we're not part of. So that's my opinion.
Well, there you go. Thanks so much for the call, Fernando. Appreciate it. And yeah, Kamala Harris's biggest challenge here is she is in the current administration. She's running as a change candidate, but the most effective line of attack is, you've got all these great ideas. Why aren't you doing them right now? But that only came at the very end of the debate. 800-222-KABC. Let's go to Mila and Irvine. Mila, hello.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hi. So, yes, I agree with some of the other callers. Trump was not with it last night. I was surprised how well Kamala did. But I think I would say maybe that's because Trump has been spending a lot of time on the road campaigning, whereas Kamala, she's been kind of hiding from the media. She wasn't giving any interviews, except for that one where she brought her VP select Waltz. So I think she was definitely better prepared, but I think that's because she had time to do it. She wasn't campaigning. I also feel she didn't answer a lot of the questions. She wasn't being honest, because this morning I went back and I checked a lot of the stuff she said, because they weren't really fact-checking her. And I went back and I checked some of the stuff, and she lied a few times, and they didn't even call her on it. Trump, like I said, I was surprised, kind of disappointed. And again, I think it's because he's just didn't have time to prepare. He's been on the road campaigning. That whole cat thing, I don't know what that is. I looked on Twitter. I looked all over social media. That stuff was out there, I think for the past week. And I was surprised he brought it up. I don't know if that was a good thing for him to do, but he brought it up.
It was the strangest moment of the debate for me. I did not expect to hear that. Thanks so much for the call, Mila. Appreciate it. We'll keep going with your phone calls as we cover last night's debate. 800-222-KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. We're taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC. Your thoughts on last night's debate. Let's go to Lizzie in San Pedro. Lizzie, hello.
Hi, my name's Ruby, and I was wondering, I didn't know Vice President Harris, and I just wanted to hear how she handled Mr. Trump, because he's a powerful and smart man, and this is his 8th debate. And the way she handled a smart and powerful man like him, I don't have any question on her handling powerful men like Putin, or different, especially if they're egotistical like Putin. And the way she handled him and served him up over and over, and she only had 1 minute, 2 minutes to do it. over and over again. And I was shocked and pleasantly surprised. And also, I just a little disappointed that she didn't take advantage of, when they were talking about racism, she didn't take advantage of him incited some bad vibes with the China virus and getting that, a lot of Asian Americans gotten beat up and all kinds of stuff behind that. And she missed an opportunity there, but that's okay. I thought she did really well, being it's her first debate, presidential debate. So I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in. Thank you.
So it sounds like you came off pretty impressed.
I'm an independent, so I wasn't sure. And my daughter's very much a Democrat. And so I told her, I really needed to hear Vice President Harris, and I'm impressed. Actually, I even took notes because of the way I know she did her homework. And Mr. Trump seems like such a smart man. You'd have thought, no matter what, do your homework. And the cat and dog thing. Now, I love animals, and I don't know how Mr. Mueller didn't laugh. That's another thing. People aren't giving him enough credit. How did you not laugh when you asked him those questions? That's like, I thought they all did a great job, except for, Mr. Trump did fall short. Yeah.
Well, there you go. I'm glad for you telling us your experience of watching that debate. Thanks so much for the call, Ruby. Appreciate it. Hey, that's we're getting a lot of actual reaction. People's minds being changed. That's very interesting, because that doesn't usually happen. We hear that everyone's already got their minds made up. 800-222-KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang. More of your calls coming up in minutes on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Your emails as well at randykabc@gmail.com. That's randykabc@gmail.com. Let's get back to the phones. Your reactions to last night's debate. Let's go to Ronald in L.A. Ronald, hello.
And you can add money to the principal.
Ronald,
and the payment will change.
Ronald, someone's having his own conversation. You can call back. Let's go to Mike in Newport Beach. Mike, hello.
Randy, hey, good evening. How we doing today?
Doing great.
So, really quick, I think we can all agree that Trump didn't have his best night last night. I think that the consensus with that is the majorities with that. A couple things. Harris, she was telling us things that we wanted to hear, no substance, and she was just going on and on how great she's going to make everything. What people need to really understand and wrap their head around, that she has all these ideas, she has all these great visions and these aspirations. However, people really need to understand that she's been in the White House for the last 3.5 years that Trump touched on, which I think was important in closing arguments last night. And what is she just saving it to when she becomes president, that she's going to impose and enact all these great ideas that she has, and she's just let the American people suffer for the last 3.5 years with a lot of bad decisions. People need to understand that. And the last thing is, people also have to understand there's different branches of government. So she just can't become president all of a sudden and wave a magic wand or wiggle her nose and have all these things happen. Congress needs to be on board. The Senate needs to be on board. Sure, she can enact some executive decisions, but it's not going to be as great as people think it's going to be. So again,
well, that's true. Time immemorial for everyone that has gotten into office in the last since I've been a kid, because the Congress is so split on so many things, and you almost can get nothing passed. So yeah, whatever she's saying, it'd be very difficult to get any of it passed. If Trump wins, the things that he wants to do, unless he's got a supermajority, it's going to be very difficult to get those things passed. That's the nature of politics right now. Congress doesn't get anything done for anybody.
100% agree with you, and that's what people need to understand as well. And what they need to realize is whoever we put in there has to have the best negotiating powers and people skills to get this done. I personally think that, I don't like Trump's rhetoric a lot of the time as well. I don't really care for how mean and condescending and nasty he is, but I look at what he's able to do and accomplish, and we were better under his 4 years than we were for the past 3.5 years. So I try to take everything with a grain of salt. I think Kamala's promises and what her expectations are and what she's going to do for everybody in the nations are extremely far-fetched. And I just hope Trump wins and, we're able to get this economy in this nation back on track and where it should be. So thank you.
Thanks so much for the call, Mike. Appreciate it. All the way down to Newport Beach, living in paradise. Let's go to Charles in Fontana. Charles, hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello. Yeah, I was listening to the debate last night, and I found that Trump didn't open up like they wanted him to, but Kamala was trying to make a point and hit home for herself. I thought about a person that had a job, got laid off and got rehired, and a person that didn't have the job. I remember when I drive a truck, I started to get a job, but then I didn't have the experience, so I didn't get the job. So that's what we're dealing with. Kamala Harris is talking about doing a lot of things for everybody, but this country isn't balanced that way. And that's what she don't understand. But she wants to make the poor feel like she loves them. She's in a different era of life. She wants a retirement. She wants to be like Barack Obama. But I think that the debate was good. I enjoyed it. I seen some good qualities with Trump. He kept control. That was the main thing. And he told her, he said, I'm talking. He let her know, don't try to cut me off. I didn't do you that way. So he's getting better with his habits the way he does. Plus, he's a businessman, a hardcore businessman. That's why he's been successful. I've ran businesses. I know what it is. So I understand what he says and what he's expressing, and he has to be himself. He's not trying to be a people pleaser. He just wants to get the job done. He wants the country back. They've tore the country down. Now they're saying they can build it back up. But we're going to go down even farther with the promises she's making because it's not going to work. Where's she going to get the money? They had wars. We in a Republican situation with Democrats. And that's what we got to realize. We want to vote for somebody we like we did with Obama. Then they said they didn't let him do anything. We got to get off of that stuff and really realize what's happening in our lives and what it takes.
Well, there you go. Great points made. Thanks so much for the call, Charles. Appreciate it. Let's go to Sam in L.A. Sam, hello.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Hey, I can.
Okay. So a couple of things. One, Trump was really tired. They've been going after him for past 4 or 5 months. He's involved in all this, so I don't think he was up to his game. But I think he missed an opportunity when Kamala came to give him shake his hand. He should have handed her a MAGA hat, and that would have made a lot bigger point than all the discussions that happened.
He got caught off guard that she came over to shake his hand.
Yeah, but he is smart enough to have been able to do that, but I'm sorry that he didn't. But that would have made the whole debate go upside down for Kamala.
There you go. Thanks so much for the call, Sam. Appreciate it. Let's go to Ellie in L.A. Ellie, hello.
Hello. I have several things. I was debating for him. And it was hard for me to actually keep from yelling and, acting like I was the one doing the debating. Number one, he missed a lot of opportunities, yes, to get, to respond to her. And when he when he actually came up with his information, he didn't really back it up with anything. She gave her sources. All the people that had said things about Trump, she gave the sources. He didn't. He actually just said, "I heard," or something like that. Got to realize this man has been through a lot. He's actually been shot at, and he's been to court, sitting in courts. He's had all kinds of battles, and I'm sure he is tired. He missed a lot of opportunities when she called him a criminal, when she said he was a rapist. Her reputation is not exactly squeaky clean, if you know anything about her and what she did here in California. She actually, has a pretty kind of shady reputation. And speaking of racism, she has a record of arresting hundreds of black men, mainly, for minor things and giving them a lot of time. So that, I haven't heard anything about that recently, but that's another thing that would go against her. And he never brought out any of that about her past and her reputation and how she slept her way up to the top and different things like that. It's just so much. And as far as the dogs and cats, well, that's all over social media. People are actually talking about what's happening to the dogs and cats in their neighborhood. He said something about a newspaper, but he didn't tell which newspaper. He probably should have, because it sounded like it might have been a reputable newspaper. So anyway,
yeah, his whole thing is people are saying, I heard this, and you never know exactly where he heard that.
Right, he didn't back it up with anything. He just said people are saying, and I felt like he was tired too, and he just, look what the man has been through. After all, most people, wouldn't have been able to do as well as he did. And you got to realize, you got to look at his record and see how strong he was and the things that he did when he was in office. If somebody is just going to use one debate to say, "Oh no, I changed my mind." Well, you better find out what this other person has done, which is absolutely
well. We got
nothing.
54 days to do it. Ellie, thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. 53 days. More of your calls coming up. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. Let's get back to the phones. Gary in Newberry Park. Gary, hello.
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Randy. I think she did a good job of pointing out all the legal problems that Trump has, including the 6 bankruptcies, and I think she's going to get elected in November. I don't think it's going to get close. I think that the mistake Trump made is he should not be running for the White House. He should be running for the big house or the bug house, because I think the guy's a lunatic.
There you go, Gabe. Gary, thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. That is the opinion of some people. More of your calls coming up shortly. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. Let's try to get to as many calls as we can in the 2 minutes we have left. So let's go real quick here, 30 seconds or less. Kelso in Sherman Oaks. Kelso, hello.
How you doing? A couple of things. I was listening to the last gentleman when he was basically making a comment about Trump, how he's like mental unstable. And this is for all the Californians that actually live in California, like Southern California. Also for the lady that actually called a couple of times. How could you vote for a person that decriminalize all the criminals, that are against all the police, that really shows all the crimes are not being reported? You're being assaulted. This is the party that tells everybody that white people are evil, which is from the sound of her voice and like from the sound of his voice, they're both white. They are making you the target, and you guys are basically saying, sure, let's go ahead and side with this woman. That is pure insanity to me. Now, second, I was a little bit disappointed about Trump because I think he lost his cool. Right now, they only have less than 2 months. All they have to do is go to all these Democrat cities. Don't even worry about the big crowds. Just go to like all these Democrat cities and talk to like all these people that are ravaged by crimes, that are ravaged by all these criminals and stuff.
They're not doing that, though. I don't know why they're not doing that. Thanks so much for the call. Sylvester, you got 20 seconds. Sylvester, hello.
Hi, I used to be a Democrat, and now I'm to the right, and I got to hand it to the Republicans and Kamala. They really put on a good show. I'm really nervous about her becoming president, but when they say that a debate isn't going to change, and when you heard that lady that talked before that she was on the hedge there, but the Democrats did a great job preparing her, and I don't know what happened to Trump. I mean, I think it's
Yeah, it's really wild. It seems like some minds got changed. Sorry, couldn't get to all the calls, but, we only have an hour. See you tomorrow on KABC.